back, class 11. Today we will be starting with the origin of the state, wherein we were discussing about social contract. And in on offline class, I have completed what is social contract and what are the assumptions made by Thomas Hobbes regarding social contract theory and criticism. So today we will be continuing the same chapter, that is chapter 3, origin of state, wherein we will discuss about John Locke's social contract theory and its criticism. So let's proceed. So this image is John Locke. Okay, so whenever if you find any difficulties in remembering his name, his picture can make you understand who was he. So moving forward, John Locke. Let's understand who was John Locke. John Locke was another Englishman. His theory was built in complete contrast to Hobbes. Okay, now you need to understand Hobbes theory. Okay, but I have already completed discussing them today. Today I will be just focusing upon the things what John Locke had said about social contract theory. So John Locke was an English philosopher of 17th century. So he has greatly contributed in the field of political philosophy through his works like Theory of Natural Rights and Individualism. So just like Thomas Hobbes, Leviathan, he has done. John Locke has given best to certain things such as Theory of Natural Rights and Individualism, and he has got the title as father of individual. Please remember, in your multiple choice question it can come this one, that who is considered as a father of individualism. So the father of individualism is John Locke. Moving forward, so let's understand what are the things that he says upon social contract theory. Social contract theory. Okay, so John Locke believed man as a social animal. Okay, social animal and a rational being. So these are the key points that John Locke says. Okay, this whatever I have written these things in different color, that is a key word, so you need to write exactly without any changes. Okay, John Locke believed man as a social animal as well as rational being. So let's understand the meaning of social animal as well as rational animal. So social animal, we can say that a person, an animal which is interactive highly interactive with other members. Okay, so human beings are highly interactive, and we can interact every day. We interact with each other. So John Locke believed man is a social animal. So let's understand what is the meaning of rational being. A rational being means which have thinking capacity, uh, reasons, logic, and those persons, the man, it is considered like they solve certain kinds of problems. So John Locke believed that man is social animal and rational being. Furthermore, Locke believed that man was a peace lover and wanted to live in harmony. The story says that the social contract story regarding given by John Locke says that man was a peace lover. Okay, peace lover and wanted to live in harmony. The state of nature. Now we are talking about how was the nature of state. Okay, the state of nature according to Locke was pre-political but not pre-social. Here you have to be much aware that it was in Hobbes it was said that it was pre-political and pre-social, but in Locke's social contract theory, Locke said that the state of nature was just pre-political but not pre-social. So the state of nature was governed by peace and harmony, and the system was natural. So it's very easy. How was this one there? Like state of nature was governed by peace and harmony, and a system was very natural. So moving forward, now, man inherited natural rights. What are the natural rights? Man inherited natural rights given by nature. Natural rights given by nature. Given by nature. So, man inherited natural rights given. Man inherited natural rights. Like, what are the natural rights? Right to life, liberty, equality, and property. What are natural rights? These are right to life, liberty, equality, and property. But the people in the state of nature face some difficulties now. Gradually, when these natural rights were given to the people, after a considerable period of time, that people started to find like they face some difficulties, and in order to overcome these difficulties, civil society came into being. So civil society came into being means civil society emerged. So now let's understand the meaning of civil society. So the meaning of civil society is that the society is connected which is connected as a community which is connected as a community of citizens that are linked by common interest as well as collective activity. So it's very easy to understand what is civil society. Civil society is a society where all different people come together in a society, and that is connected as a community of citizens, and that community of citizens has a special common interest or a collective activity or objectives to be achieved. So civil society is this one. Now after the establishment of civil society, what happened? People established a civil contract. Okay, so we in offline classes I have talked about two contracts, right? Civil contract as well as political contract. But John Locke says that after the emergence of civil society, what came into being? Civil contract. So first civil contract was established. So let's understand the meaning of civil contract. So civil contract means legally sanctioned legally sanctioned um, between two person. Okay, so this contract established what? After the establishment of civil society, what established? Civil contract was established. And the purpose of the civil society was to bring about civilization in the society. So what was the main purpose of civil society? The purpose of civil society was to bring what? Civilization in the society. So what do you mean by the civilization of the society? So civilization of society means we have heard about like people were there, and gradually people started to stay on certain kind of villages. You have heard about Indus Valley civilization, Mesopotamian civilization, Egyptian civilization, right? So beyond that, prior to the establishment of Indus Valley civilization and different civilization in the world, John Locke is talking about that civilization of the society. So let's understand the meaning of civilization of the society. So civilization of a society was the main purpose of purpose of civil society. But what does this civilization means? A civilization is a complex human society. It is a complex human society complex human society that are made with which are made with different cities come together, which are made by different cities come together. So main purpose of civil society was to establish a civilization, okay, to bring civilization. Now after that, the establishment of civil society, civil contract was established, and what led this civil contract led to the creation of sovereign communities, that state, sovereign community of the state. What do you mean by sovereign community? Sovereign community means the people formally, with rational choice, they select one leader, and that leader has a sovereign power, and ultimately state emerged. Further, what happened? The state then signed, then only was emerged. Now we are not talking about civil society, okay? These are the certain hierarchical things that we need to understand. Now previously what was there? State was not there, okay? People signed, people came together and signed what? Civil society was formed. Then after civil society, civil contract was there, and this civil contract led to the establishment of what? Civilization. Different cities come together. Then only what happened? Then after the establishment of establishment of civilization, ultimately what came into being? State came into being. Now we are in this step: first, second, third, fourth step, okay? Fourth step. Then the state then signed a political contract. Now only the political contract came. Political contract, fifth stage, okay? Fourth, third, second, first. Now in John Locke, we need to understand there are five more stages. Then in fifth stage, what happened? Political contract came with selected people to form a government. So political contract, now then the government was given to a limited power. What happened? After this fifth, government was formed. Government was formed, and this government was given a limited power. The power was very limited. Now the government was to be the agent of the state. Now state is here. Now government was to be agent of the state to do the works, whatever the state wanted, okay? The government was given specific and limited powers for the protection of natural rights. What are natural rights? Right to life, right to property. We have already discussed in first or second slide. Now then what happened? The authority of the government was subject to the consent of the people. Now these government, how this government came? With the selected people, right? With the selected people form a government. And if the people give consent, then only the government can be formed. If the people does not give consent to that particular selected people, or government is gone. So at that period of time, the authority of the government was subject to the what? Consent of the people. Therefore Locke's social contract consisted of two contracts, that is civil contract as well as political contract. Till now, I hope you have understood the whole scenario of what? Social contract theory of John Locke. Now what happened then? Locke talked about separation of legislative and executive powers. So, furthermore, Locke talked about now the government is finally formed. Okay, in which step? In sixth step. In sixth step, government is formed. Now government has given certain powers, right? Limited powers, and the Locke has talked about the separation of powers of legislature and executive. So what is legislature and what is executive? Legislature means the body which makes laws, and executive means who implements laws made by legislature. It's very simple. Now what happened then? after that after that, people had the right to revolt, which meant withdrawal of their consent from the government. Now, what happened if this government was not performing their duties well? People had the right at that period of time. People had the right to revolt this government and say that we don't want your government. We want a different government that can be our sovereign authority. Okay, so now what happened then? The people, roughly can be called as a community, had a right to change the government. Okay, till now also we have a right to change the government, or any organ, in case it violated the contract. Okay, now the contract made by the people, there are political contract and civil contract, right? And if the like government violated the contract made, then it can be like changed, the government can be changed. So these are the mere things that we like John Locke says about his social contract theory. Now let's understand what are the criticism. Okay, so the Locke's concept of state of nature is very idealistic and unrealistic. So let's understand what is the meaning of idealistic and unrealistic. Idealistic means too perfect, so it is an ideal type. Okay, so it like John Locke's theory, social contract theory, is too perfect. Okay, it cannot be, so that's why it is idealistic, and unrealistic means not real. So we can't find these system. Okay, it is whatever the John Locke says, it's very idealistic, it's too perfect, or not real. Second criticism is that Locke's concept of natural rights is also unrealistic. What concept of natural rights? Concept of what was the natural rights? The natural right was related to right to liberty, equality, and free that property, right? The Locke's concept of natural right is also unrealistic, as there cannot be rights without the state. If the state is not there, okay, if the state is not there, what happens? If the state is not there, what happens? There is no right whom we can, like, what kind of rights we are talking about, right? Locke does not talk about the institution of judiciary, he only talks about the institution of legislature and executive. So in every part of the world, the government has legislative, executive, and judiciary, but the justice giving pattern, the organ which sees what are the things that is happening, either it is right or wrong, which who shall be punished or who shall not be punished, this organ, the organ of judiciary, is nowhere. Locke has not talked about the organ of judiciary in his social contract theory in separation of power. Now Locke talked about the right to revolt. Okay, right to revolt, which is very undemocratic. It's not good to revolt. Anything is like, it's very undemocratic, and it brings chaos, confusion, and much more pain in the state. So such rights cannot be granted by any state. So the state which the rights which talks about revolt, revolution for a state, it is not good because it is very undemocratic. The basic of natural right was unscientific. The basic of natural right was unscientific in nature, as it is not based on logic, reason, and science. If the natural rights was based upon logic and certain reasons, valid reasons were there, and the scientific method is there, it can be considered as, could have been considered as scientific. But the natural rights, whatever the John Locke is taking and talking about, is very unscientific because it is not backed by logic, reason, and science. So these are the criticism that the social contract theory of John Locke faces. Now these are the four criticism you need to understand, and this is where your social contract theory of John Locke ends. Till then, stay safe and take care. Please make your notes up to date and start writing.